Welcome once again. Welcome back to Cultivating with Sandra on Medicinal Monday. And before we start on today's topic of cayenne pepper, let's review some of the items that we have done in the past, in the last 3 weeks. And we'll start with the apple cider. Remember, the apple cider is one of the ingredients, one of the remedies that we use for cold and sinus and flu, and it is something that is extracted with apple cider vinegar. It has been already it's going to be a month in a couple of days, so we will be extracting these, and we will be taking all the medicinal value that the apple cider vinegar took out from all of the ingredients that we have in here. So to make our job easier, we do have a juice press. This juice press is what we're going to use to extract all the goodness out of this fire cider. And once you extract your fire cider, remember that you have up to a year to use it. Some people use it as want to use it within 6 months, and that is fine too. So you have your fire cider. I will be using mine up to a year and a half. I know the ingredients. I know the process. So we'll extract all the goodness out of our um, extraction, and then we will be putting in some jars. So that is what we did on week 1. And let me try to get some of this thing out of the way. So that was this is our fire cider. On week 2, we did some infused honey. And what we did, we talked about the benefits of having infused honey. And we have here's honey and ginger. We have honey and turmeric. Um, we have honey and garlic. We have honey and cinnamon, honey and lemon, honey and elderberries, honey and red onions, and honey and cranberries. You can put anything that you want pretty much on the honey. And some of the restaurants that give you that chipotle honey sauce for your chicken and so forth, you can make that at home. You just get your the seasoning that you want. You put at least 1/3 of it, and then you put your honey or whatever it is that you're infusing. So I want you to notice how this top, I don't know if you could, if it does any justice, how you see this top is almost popping off. And that is because to, I forgot to burp it. So always remember that it's important that you burp anything that will produce gas, because the top can pop off, and you just don't want any explosion in your kitchen. So now that this has been already 3 weeks, I will be extracting this all into a jar and removing all of the ingredients that I added, all the herbs that I added to the honey. Can you leave this permanently like this? Yes, you can. Then you don't have to strain it. I'm just going to be straining so it could be for easier use in a bottle. So this is what we did on week 3 and week 2. So we'll move this to the side to ensure we have more room. And on week 3, we did an oxymel. And what is an oxymel? An oxymel is an extraction or an infusion. It's really an extraction with honey and vinegar. Remember that for day 1, we did it with apple cider vinegar. And some people think that that is just too sour, they don't like the taste. And then on week 2, we'd use honey. And some people think, I'm diabetic, that is just too much sugar. So this oxymel uses the apple cider vinegar and it uses the honey to extract all the good nutrients. This one is elderberry and oregano, and this could be used as a good antibiotic that it will be healthy for your guts. Okay, hi. Who says hi?
You have three people say hi. One is Kendra and one named Just Kidding. That say hi to everyone that say hi to you.
Hi. Hi. Thank you for joining us. We really do appreciate you supporting our small channel and learning with us how to live a little bit more naturalist life with the ingredients that we can grow or we can ethically source.
And Kendra got a question.
What's Kendra's question?
He wrote down, I have a jar of garlic and honey. I forgot to burp and I can't get the lid off now. Burp your jars, folks. He just making a statement.
Yes, yes, because you'll get your jars like this, and this is my honey, and he said it was ginger that he said
It was garlic and honey.
garlic and honey. Where's my garlic? Where's my garlic? My lid on my garlic is not popping as much as my honey and ginger, but you're right. You gotta burp them. If you don't burp them, this you're gonna get this bulging and it could explode. So do your best. Sometimes with the honey, you can run it into some warm water. Remember, your water should be under 95 degrees because you don't want to do any damage to your honey or the good benefits of the honey. So you could probably run it through some warm water and just do your best to get those out burped. Sometimes I have to ask my husband to come and open those jars for me.
Say hi to Cindy.
Hi, Cindy. Thank you for joining us. Um, so back to the oxymel. So if you do not like the apple cider vinegar because it's just too much, and the honey is just too sweet, you do an oxymel, which is you using both of them, and then you can adjust it. Remember, do your research in which herbs are beneficial to you. And once you learn what herbs are beneficial to you, then figure out how you want to extract the medicinal value, the medicinal benefit of each of those herbs or plants. Because this, I can adjust more honey if I don't like it, or if it's too sweet, I could add more apple cider vinegar. So this is for your taste buds, because if it doesn't taste good, I'm not taking it. So you can adjust it to what is best for your taste, but as you decide which herbs you want to use. Okay, so that was week 1, week 2, week 3. Week 4, which was last week, we went and we did some ginger. We used a ginger bug, which those videos are on my YouTube site. We use a ginger bug to make ginger soda. To make soda. This one is just pineapple soda, and this one is hibiscus pineapple soda. So last week we did our tea, what I call the tea. We cut our pineapples. We one pineapple, and then we did half of that pineapple. We made it for the soda, for the pineapple soda, and then half of the pineapple we did it for the hibiscus pineapple soda, and then also we added a half a cup, I believe, a half a cup of the hibiscus flower. So what we did last week was we did the tea, we put our ginger bug, we let it rest. Saturday made 5 days because we did it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Saturday, I shook the bottle and then I locked it in. Remember, for the first 5 days, we are not locking this in because it's fermented. Right now, we have it locked in because we are now waiting for our fermentation. So we'll wait. So it's been 5 days Saturday. So Sunday, Monday, today's been 2 days of fermentation. Oh, sorry, of carbonation. So once we get 5 days of carbonation, we will put them into the refrigerator to reduce the carbonation, and then we'll open and taste. Do you have to put it in the refrigerator first? No, you don't. But get ready to have your soda exploding everywhere. That's a very high probability, and you will waste your work. So you want to make sure that you use the carbonation, carefully carbonated, and then reduce the carbonation by putting it in the refrigerator. And last week we actually opened one of our ginger ale, and my husband tasted the ginger ale for the first time and he liked it. And I think we are running out of ginger. I think I need to make some more. So this is what we did last week. So this last month we have done extract. We have used vinegar to extract medicinal properties. We have done honey. We have done both, and we have done fermented drink, which is through our ginger bug. And those have been very beneficial, especially that that soda, homemade soda, is good, especially if you have used some antibiotic for whatever reason. I am not against antibiotics. I do take antibiotics myself when it is the only option that I have. So when you take antibiotics, you also not only killing the bad bacteria, but you're also killing the good bacteria. So you have to go ahead and replenish your gut health that lost all those good bacteria along with the bad ones, and replenish it. And that is where you do fermented onions, fermented cabbage, which is sauerkraut. You could do ginger ale. You could do anything that you could use your ginger bug for. So those are beneficials for our gut and our health. So let's go to today's topic. And I have my notes because it is a lot of information that I want to share with you that I have learned throughout my studies, through reading some of my books. I have used the Herbal Synergy book. I have used the Herbal Medicine Maker Handbook. And although I have not used any of the recipes from those books, I do like to read to see what they say about the herbs. But this is my favorite, which is the Encyclopedia of Herbal Medicine, 560 herbs and remedies for common ailments. And this have been very beneficial to me. So a lot of the information that I share with you is not information that I came up with. It's not information that that I know from whatever studies, but it is information that I have researched and have been beneficial, and obviously I have tried some. So let's talk about the cayenne pepper, because cayenne pepper, I always knew about cayenne pepper, but I never really cared for anything that was really spicy until my husband was looking into benefits for him. This was years back. He was borderline needing to take some high blood pressure medicine, so he did not want to get back on that medicine. And right now it wasn't required, so he started to looking at natural remedies that will benefit him. And he started with the cayenne pepper. Did I jump on that wagon? Nope, because I don't like anything spicy. But he shared with me some of these benefits, and I want to share them with you before we go into detail. There have been traditional uses for the cayenne pepper for circulatory and blood support. It helps with poor circulation, cold hands and feet, blood stagnation, varicose vein support, and external bleeding. Um, for heart and vascular support, it has helped heart tone support, blood pressure balance, blood flow support, and cholesterol support. For respiratory, cayenne pepper has helped with chest congestion, excess mucus, bronchitis support, asthma support, and sinus congestion. For the immune system, immune and cold system, which we did include in our fire cider, cayenne pepper, it helps with colds, flu support, fever support because it promotes sweating, sore throat, and early infection support. So if you know that you are getting when people knew that they were getting an infection for whatever reason, they incorporated cayenne pepper. For digestive support, it helps with slow digestion, gas and bloating, indigestion, low stomach acids. So there's some people that their stomach do not produce enough acid to digest the food. So it helps with low stomach acid and appetite stimulation. Some people they can't eat for whatever reason. Some use cayenne pepper for that. Also, they use people have used cayenne pepper for the pain and nervous system, for arthritis, joint pain, muscle soreness, back pain, nerve pain, shingle, rheumatoid arthritis. Also, it also is for metabolic and endocrine support, so the blood sugar balance, insulin sensitivity support, metabolic sluggishness, and weight management support. Some people use it to lose weight. And also, it has been researched and traditionally used to help with energy and systemic support for fatigue, cold constitution, shock support, and poor nutrient absorption. So there are many, 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 many uses for cayenne pepper. So it is good to study those. So I have gone on for probably 20 minutes. I have not introduced myself. For those of you that are new, I am Sandra with Cultivating with Sandra. And this is where we talk about plants and traditional remedies that are grounded in a grounded and responsible way, so you can decide what fits in your life. So before we continue with the cayenne pepper, I need to share this with you, and I'll share it every time. Everything that I share here is for educational purposes only. I am not diagnosing you, I am not treating you, and I'm not curing you. This is about understanding how plants and herbs have been used traditionally and how to prepare them in a way that you can use it. So now that we got that clear, um, today we're going to talk about cayenne pepper. And it's just not a spice, but it's a plant that shows up in traditional herbs. I wish I had, I wish I had some fresh, some fresh, fresher cayenne pepper, but I don't. I did bring my plant in, and this is a green cayenne pepper. This is not ready. This is where it's turning right here. So when it gets completely red, because I dry them, because I use it for all of my powders and infusions. So right here, it's getting dry, and this is what it looks like once it's dry. So do not confuse this with chili peppers. These are not chili pepper. These are cayenne pepper. And why cayenne pepper? Cayenne pepper is often associated with heat, but traditionally it has been valued for something deeper: movement. So, movement of warmth, movement of circulation, and movement of sensation. This is why cayenne pepper comes up in conversation about stiffness, muscle fatigue, and feeling cold or sluggish, especially during cold and flu season. Cayenne pepper doesn't numb the body, it stimulates awareness. For example, if you want to use cayenne pepper oil, or you want to use a cayenne pepper salve, you will put the cayenne pepper, this salve or the oil, in that place that is hurting or that is bothering you. So it doesn't really numb it, but it brings stimulation to that area. It numbs the nerve endings, and or it calms the nerve endings, and you feel some type of relief. So where does cayenne pepper comes from? Cayenne pepper comes from the dry fruit. So this dry fruit right here, and is capsaicin annum. And the compound most people associated with cayenne is the capsaicin, which treats a familiar warming sensation. So traditionally has been used in very, very small amount and intentional amount internally and externally. Okay? So with cayenne pepper, more is not better. Please respect cayenne pepper. Okay, so there's many ways that we can treat cayenne pepper, and I think I have so it could remind me. Cayenne pepper can be infused in water, so like a tea, and some people do take it. They just get 8 to 12 ounces of water, and they take a pinch of cayenne pepper and they mix it and they drink it warm, especially if they want to warm themselves. Some people use it to lose weight. Some people use it for energy. Some people use it for cholesterol. So you decide what you want to use it for and what you want to try. But always, always, always start in small amounts. You can also infuse it in oil. So on this one, in this infusion, it is castor oil. And the reason that I infuse it in castor oil, because that is one of the bases for my salve. So you do not have to infuse it in castor oil, especially if you're going to digest it. You could use a carrier oil like olive oil. You could do, some people do grapeseed oil. I have not done grapeseed oil, but some people do grapeseed oil. Um, I just went blank on all the other oils. But you could use any oil, any vegetable oil that you want to use, but make sure that it is conducive to what remedy you want to use it for. So, but I mainly, if I'm gonna ingest it, it's gonna, and it has to be in an oil. It has to be an olive oil. It has to be a clean, extra virgin olive oil. And if I can find the olive oil in a from one country only instead of multiple countries, then that will be my first choice. Okay, that is not always accessible to everyone, and that is not always cost effective for some people. But as long as you get the best olive oil that you can afford, and you just do whatever, infuse it or take it or put it in some salad with some cayenne pepper, that will work. Same thing if you infuse it with honey. Get the best honey you can get. Local honey is always best, but you can also use it. I'm gonna pause. Okay, no, let me go over the other way. You could use it in a salve, um, and that is what I use my infused cayenne pepper with castor oil. And the difference between the oil and the salve, and I'll open this for you so you can see it. The oil spreads. So, and and you usually are going to smear it everywhere and all of that. With a salve, it helps it keep it there. That beeswax help it keep it in place and not just smearing everywhere. So that is mainly the difference between an oil and a salve. And do you have to have a salve? No, the oil is enough. But please, 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 like when I said earlier, respect cayenne pepper. Once you apply it on yourself, go wash your hands. I have made the mistake of not washing my hands thoroughly and touching my face or touching my eyes or touching my nose, and it reminds you to respect it because it be burning. The other way that you could do is a syrup, which I mentioned it, putting it in a honey, and a tincture, which is you can put it in alcohol and extract the medicinal. And that one, you want to make sure that you truly, truly are very, very careful on that one, because that one is strong and it is a fast absorption, and your body is not gonna forgive you if you take too much. So dilution is important. You always want to start, even the solve, you want to start it, you want to test it in a small area. The oil, you want to test it in a small area. And then if you can tolerate it, if you don't break out, if you don't have any itching, then you could put it somewhere else. wherever it is that you want. I'm gonna pause right here. Is there any questions? Yes.
You said so you use the castor oil for topical and olive oil for the cayenne oil you will consume.
You could use topic olive oil for topical and for internal. A lot of my infusion does have olive oil. The reason that I use castor oil, because castor oil is the one of the oils that penetrate all the way in. Castor oil, we'll go over castor oil in another video, but it has a lot of benefit. Like in your belly, I put castor oil in my belly button to be able to sleep. In the past, I was waking up a lot in the middle of the night, trying to use, going to use the restroom, even when I would reduce my water intake before 7 o'clock. And then all of a sudden I said, you know what? I've been hearing a lot about this castor oil. So let me put some castor, a small amount of castor oil in my belly button at night. Well, I have not woken up. I go to sleep whenever I go to sleep, and my body always wakes up around 5:30 in the morning. So I woke up at 5:30. I was like, ooh, that happened night one. That happened night two. I was like, okay, I'm sold. I'm going to be putting a little bit of castor oil in my belly button every single night. But the reason why I use this is because this oil penetrates. It just goes so deep inside, above your skin. It could go all the way inside into your organs and into your tissue, deeper than any of the oils can do. But you can use olive oil to do the salve if you wanted to. I just prefer the benefit of the castor oil. Remember, when you do your remedies, you use what you have that will work. Make sure that they don't contradict each other, right? But also, if you go a little bit further and understand, hey, which oil will be best for me? Google it, research it, find yourself a book um, that talk about the plant or the castor plant, um, because it has a lot of benefits. So, olive oil for both, and castor oil only for salves. Okay, I hope that answered. And if you still need some clarification, just let us know. Okay, so now I infuse my castor oil with cayenne pepper, and we are starting with infused because that is our foundation for most of the topical um, preparation. An infused oil allows cayenne pepper to work to be worked gently and intentionally, and it gives flexibility. The oil can be used on its own in very small amount, or it can later be turned into a salve. So that is why I use the castor oil, because that was part of my the way I wanted to make this recipe of my salve. So when I make cayenne pepper, I think about the strength of the infusion, the carrier oil, the infusion time, and how I want this plant to interact with my body. So I do not want to I don't want to use the wrong type of oil. And for what I'm thinking ahead of time, okay, I wasn't going to use this oil on my skin because there was no need at that time. But I knew that I wanted to make this. So that is why I did that. So you choose what carrier oil you want. So always decide the interaction first. How is it going to interact with the oil? And then what you're going to use it later. Are you going to leave it in this form, or are you going to move it to a different form? And always, this is also where caution matters. Cayenne oil should always be patch tested and used sparingly. So um I was gonna model, but I don't have any wipes here. So the other thing with the cayenne, you could use the powder, but you will have to use less powder. Or you could do the whole pepper. I will cut it in pieces so the oil can extract from all parts of the plant. But if you don't have cayenne pepper, which is, it seems harder to find. All the cayenne pepper that I have used, that I have been fresh, has been grown in my garden. Um, but cayenne pepper is easier to find. Cayenne pepper also comes, um, some of the sources with the amount of heat. Some of them, and the heat is by how many thousand, something, something, something. So the higher the number, the more spicier or the hotter it is. If you have the privilege of purchasing a different strength, always start with the um, lowest strength of the cayenne pepper, and then go move up as you begin to tolerate it. I don't tolerate cayenne pepper very well. Um, so when I make my green juice, I put half a teaspoon into a juice that makes 36 to 48 ounces. But if I'm making the juice for my husband, I can put a whole teaspoon and maybe something, sometimes a little bit more, because he's been taking cayenne pepper for a long time. So you start very little. I really started with an eighth of a teaspoon. Then I graduated to a fourth of a teaspoon. And then I'm now in half of a teaspoon. And the only reason that I haven't moved up to a full teaspoon or three quarters of a teaspoon is because I haven't made the juice in a week or so. So I will gradually do it, because that juice, when I take it in the morning with cayenne pepper, it gives me energy for the whole day. And I'm not crashing at the end of the day. So later on, we'll talk about that. So we do the oil first. Um, then we do a salve. And the salve is simply an infused oil that is solidified with beeswax. You do not have to, it's not rocket science. You just buy a good beeswax from Amazon. Make sure that it's ethically sourced. And or you could go to your local places that you buy your honey. I just found out that we are buy my natural local honey. He also sells beeswax. I have never worked with his beeswax. So next, that will be my next thing, to see how my recipes work. I know that they work with the other expensive beeswaxes that I have purchased before. But I want to know how it does with the natural local wax, beeswax. So I put it here because it helps me with my joints. It helps me with the muscles. My husband uses it for his knees. He's for years he always have to ice his knees, or apply heat in his knees. I think it's ice or heat. I don't know, one of them. And he was my first person to try myself, and he doesn't, I haven't seen him ice his knees since he started using this. But make sure when you use this or when you make it, that you wash your hands thoroughly. Also, a friend of ours was having back spasms really bad and could hardly move, and after they used dissolve, it's called warming muscle support, his spasms went away. So use it, make it, find a recipe for it that you can live with. Make sure that it is the amount of cayenne pepper, the right amount of the infusion. And what I didn't talk about, which I'm going to go back and apologize, is how long to infuse your oils. So what you want to do is that you want to get your carrier oil, and you're going to fill it up. I always use mason jars. I have a mason jar. Can you give me the mason jar that is on that top shelf? I It has comfrey and something else on it. Right there on that shelf. Continue walking. Right there, top right side. There's a big jar with oil. Yes. No. The one that has oil, Mama. Yes, that one. Thank you. So this one, and right here I have olive oil, comfrey, horsetail, and St. John's wort, because I am going to be making some growth hair shampoo. So what I do is that I mix. This one was a specific ration that I came up with. But what I want to do is I want to put at least 1/3. If you're doing the cayenne pepper, you do 1/3 of the peppers. Now, this is the peppers, like this peppers. If it's this, you probably want to use a sixth of the container that you are going to use, like half of what you would use. If you're going to use a third of this, then you do a sixth of this, half of the 1/3, because now this is extremely fine. Okay, so then, and then you fill it up with the oil. This one is a specific recipe, so I didn't fill it all the way to the top. um because this only makes 16 ounces, and I use this 32-ounce jar. So you fill it up, and then you let it rest in a dark, cool place for 4 to 6 weeks. But who has time for that? Sometimes I don't. So what you do, you get a crock pot and you fill it up with some water, probably an inch, maybe two at the most. You could do 2 inches when you do a big jar like this. And then I put a cloth, like a dishcloth, something that you do to wash the dishes or to dry your hand in the kitchen. And then I put the jar uncovered, in the crock pot, and I set it into to warm. And then I let that stay there for, some people say, 2 to 3 hours. I leave it for a minimum of 8 to 10 hours. Some of mine have stayed as long as 12 hours, because I do it at nighttime. I leave it on. Oh, and do not cover the crock pot, because that's going to make condensation, and that condensation is going to go into your oil. And if that condensation goes into your oil will go rancid a lot faster. So you have to be careful with that. So around an inch or two of water, a cloth. Make sure that if you want to, you could do the water to go higher if you want to. Do not put the lid on this, and do not put the lid on the crock pot. Okay. And then you just let it there for, I let it for 12 hours. I put it at nighttime, and when I wake up, then I take it off. I make sure it's cool to the right temperature before I start mixing things together. So that is how quickly you could do an infused oil, if you don't want to wait 4 to 6 weeks. Okay. Never, 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 never let the temperature get above 110 degrees. Okay. Um, because then it starts breaking down the properties of the herbs and the oils that you have. Okay. So 110 is the maximum. So that's how you infuse the cayenne pepper oil. And then once you do that, then you mix it with some beeswax. And I have more things in it. This one has castor oil, cayenne pepper, rosemary oil, garlic oil, and oregano oil. But you will make those oils the same way. A third of the herb, fill it up with the carrier oil that you want to use, and then you can either let it sit for 4 to 6 weeks in a dark, cool place, every so often shaking it. And then or you can just put it in a crock pot overnight for 12 hours. Yes, some people say 2 to 3 hours is fine, and I'm not knocking them. I'm just telling you what I do is 12 hours to make sure that all that infusion is there. But you do your research and you decide what works best for you. And if you're in a rush and you need to hurry up because you need to create the salt because your loved one or yourself are in a lot of pain, then by all means, do the least amount. Um, and then later on, you can increase, and then you could test the difference between the two. So that is the salt, and this this isn't about masking discomfort, but it's to bring circulation and awareness to the area. So one safety guideline is that do not use it on broken skin, and it should not be used in sensitive area, and you're supposed to wash your hands thoroughly afterwards. This is one of those plants that teaches to respect very, very quickly. The other thing is that you can use is in capsules. Annalise, there's another bag of pills that I have over there that can you bring me the one that says I think it's heart support, heart flow. The one that says heart flow. I forgot to bring it. Um, I did a heart flow combination with some herbs for my husband. That it includes cayenne pepper. So this one it has beetroot powder, hawthorn berry powder, and cayenne pepper powder. And you can actually put this powder in a capsule form. I will be very, very careful about just using cayenne pepper powder that you don't know how strong that capsaicin is, because you can do more damage than benefit. On this one, it does have cayenne pepper, but cayenne pepper is the third ingredient. Most of it is beetroot, which helps with heart and circulation and flow. Hawthorn berry, which also does the same, and then cayenne pepper is my last. So out of this peel of I think it's like 800 milligrams, I can't remember the size. These are double O's, double zeros. The least ingredient there is cayenne pepper, and you will start with one of these a day, and then you could increase it depending on on your need, and then you would take it with food. Now, this does not replace your blood pressure medicine. By no means, this does not replace your blood pressure medicine. If you are borderline blood pressure and you want to try something, cayenne pepper does help. Like in here, it says beetroot powder helps and hawthornberry help. So you decide what it is that you want to add and how you want to experiment. But by no means, guys, do not replace your prescribed medicine with anything natural unless your doctor tells you that it is okay. Because what you want to avoid is that you don't have any protection and something, Lord forbid, bad happens. So this is more of a support to go along with whatever the doctor has prescribed you, or if you want to avoid having to take some prescription. So if you are deciding that you want to try cayenne pepper capsules, try the I would try it first in a little bit of water and see how your stomach take it little by little. And I will also start with this strength. I will make sure that I buy a cayenne pepper that shows me the different strengths. So I won't be starting with the strongest strength and tearing up my stomach, because it will cause more damage than benefit if you use the wrong one. So, very, very small amounts. You could do very, very small capsules, and you could start it a little bit in water and increase it as you think is beneficial. None of these remedies that I talk about and I share with you are intended for to be used by children. Maybe the only thing that out of the lines that I may use on probably elementary school children, maybe my um, hair growth serum, the shampoo, and the rinse. would be the only thing that I may consider doing on elementary children. Otherwise, I will wait until they are um, almost adults, because you don't know how the body will react. And that is why it's important that you use, you read, you text, and you learn how, to pair it. This book, this Synergy Herbal book, shows you, um, where is it? It shows you how to pair that. It says that it right here, it'll tell you that it is good to be paired with garlic, with turmeric, with ginger, and with black pepper. And if you pair it with ginger, it amplifies the cayenne capsaicin driven circulation benefits, because ginger also is a warming herb. Turmeric is also is a warming herb, so turmeric will bring out the powerful of the curcuminoids to the table. So it works very good with that. If you do cayenne pepper and black pepper, the black pepper increases the absorption of the cayenne pepper. Like if you need it to be stronger. And then there are, it tells you the ancient Maya and the Aztec used the cayenne pepper to treat respiratory, including asthma and bronchitis. And it also, this book also gives you some recipes that you can actually try. So that is this one. Now, this book also tell you the best way to use cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is considered the one of the, how do they call it? One of the 30 herbs. It is one of the California School of Herb Studies, the CSHS list of 30 herbs everybody should use or have in their house. And then cayenne pepper is one of those. So, oh, but it tells you that cayenne pepper is better if you use it in an infusion, in an oil, in a salve, in a syrup, and in a tincture. So this book, and I get no I don't get an endorsement. It's just a book that has helped me, which I'm all about sharing. As a former educator, I'm all about sharing and allowing you to know what tools I'm using, so you can use them yourself to make sure that you get more information. And this is 3 books out of the dozens of books that I have that I research and read upon. So external use requires discernment, not trends. Like let's say that um I'm not on TikTok yet, but let's say that there's a TikTok trend that everybody needs to go get some cayenne pepper and da 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 da. Cayenne pepper, although based on research and based on what it has done, is very very beneficial. You want to make sure that you are careful. You're very careful and you take it little by little, because um, you don't want to hurt yourself in the process. So wrapping this one up, I work with cayenne pepper in different forms. Why do I do it in different forms? Because not every form works for everybody. I am just barely building up to the just taking it in my juice or just taking it in hot water. So I will benefit more if I have it in a capsule. But with me and for my rheumatoid arthritis, thank God I haven't had any flares in a long time, because I've changed a lot of my diet. But this is what I will use for that. And then if between the oil and the soft, I for myself will use the soft better, because it'll stay there. And I mean, last time I used it, I had banged my elbow. I had banged my elbow coming out of trying to rush out of the restroom because my phone was ringing and I banged it. And it was hurting so bad. I was like, oh, gee, to my husband, I said, I need you to rub some of the salve on it. Within 5, 10 minutes, there was no pain. So it works for me. So it may work for you, but you need to decide which way is best for you. So, for those of you that do not want to prepare it at home, then you could go to my website, which is Cultivating with Sandra, and you could order the capsules. You could order the warming muscle support. I don't have the oil currently available, but if you shoot me a message, I could make it possible to get you some oil if you do not want to infuse it yourself. But my purpose is to share with you today the benefits of cayenne pepper, how it has been traditionally used, and the benefits of it. You got remember that long list of benefits that I read you, and then you decide. You decide if this herb is good for you, and you decide if you want to do anything. If you decide if you want to do it in powder, if you want to go ahead and fill it up in little capsules, if you want to make the oil, or if you want to make the salt. But if you decide that you need it and you want it and you don't want to go through the work, just go to my website. I should have them already listed. Now I do make small batches, because I also will give you an expiration date of our product, because it's all natural. It doesn't have the preservative commercial stores use. So we want to make sure that you use it. And if you're wondering how long, it usually takes between 6 to 12 months, depending on the product. So, in closing, cayenne pepper is powerful, but it's also humbling. It reminds us that plants deserve respect and not hype. And next Medicinal Monday, we will talk about another warming plant that pairs well with cayenne pepper, and is a little bit more gentle than the cayenne pepper. Do we have any questions?
Is cayenne safe to use on the skin?
Yes, as long as you make the dosage the correct dosage. Do not. I have seen, and I did this one time. I had a cut, and I did put some cayenne pepper. It did burn. I didn't put a lot, but it did burn. But it stopped the bleeding. So you want to be very, very careful. You want to start slowly and see the benefit. And the only reason that I tried cayenne pepper was because I had read about it and I wanted to know how true it was. It did work on my little cut. Um, but I mean, if it was something major, let's say I had sliced my whole finger, I'm not putting no cayenne pepper. I'm going straight to the hospital. But yeah, you go ahead, you could try it, you could do it on the skin. And what I would do is I would do a little patch, and if I don't have any reaction, then I will try it again. And maybe I will do a patch that is covered, so I don't consider, and then go wash my hands, because I don't want to I want to make sure that it stays there and that it doesn't spread, and I'm not touching it and then touching my face.
Is store bought cayenne powder okay for remedies?
Maybe. I don't know the strength of the cayenne pepper. I don't know the where it was sourced. I don't know if it has a lot of herbicides or pesticides. So it could be good and it could be bad. So I do source mine from different companies that I know that is sourced ethically.
What makes cayenne different from ginger or turmeric?
Cayenne is strong. Ginger and what was the other question? Ginger and turmeric. Ginger and turmeric are more gentle, and ginger tea and turmeric tea is way, way, way more gentler on my stomach than cayenne is. So they are all three are warming herbs, but you can also they have different benefits to use.
What's the biggest mistake people make with cayenne?
The biggest mistake people make the iron. Let me tell you the biggest mistake I made with cayenne. I decided to take the same amount as my husband took. And my stomach was not happy. So this mistake is starting big with large amounts and not starting small. That would be, to me, the biggest mistake.
Is cayenne better than wait? Is cayenne better for joints or muscles?
Cayenne has been used for both. So if there is a solve that you want, that you wanted to take care of your bones and you want to take care of your muscles, then I would consider trying cayenne. Cayenne solve, I call it warming muscle support, but it also helps. I mean, it helps me with my rheumatoid arthritis, and that is joints. Any other questions on Facebook or no? Well, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate. Thank you for being here and for learning with me. Um, for approaching plant-based wellness thoughtfully. I am not an expert. I am a learner by nature. I like to learn, and I'm a teacher by trade. I like to teach. So as I learn, I want to share with you, and so feel free to join us, learn alongside with us, and have a blessed day. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.